I'm gesturing with a witch hand.
Yeah, we've had weirder days. Okay, so before we get to the meat and potatoes of the video, we must first address the apron for the Siren Alice dress. I've had this completed for some time. It was a very simple process, which is why the apron will not be a video on its own. We're talking really 5 minutes of footage. It was a very simple process, so we can just go ahead and go through this right now. The fabric I used was just a little bit of what was left over from the white damask fabric from my harem pants video years before. So really all I had to do was trace a pocket shape into 2 layers of this damask fabric. That's really what the apron is. It's a giant pocket. So if you go back to the making of the blue Alice dress and the absolute complexity of that apron, the pockets were really the easiest part of that project. So we're just talking a giant pocket. And before we put these 2 pieces together, I must first gather the lace and attach it inside the layers before I flip it inside out. So we're going to attach the lace and then sew it in, flip the pocket inside out, and there we have a right side out apron. Tracing the symbols is the absolute same process that I used for the standard Alice apron. Just cut out some symbols and trace around. This time I'm using a pink marker because the symbols on Siren Alice are pink. Now before we gather the apron and insert it into the waistband, I first inserted some extra layers on the inside of the apron. This would help prevent any bleed through that the marker would cause. So the pink wouldn't bleed through the other side, and then the blue of the other side would not bleed into the pink side. That's an explanation for another time. Let's just say that Siren Alice saga is not finished. So with the interface inserted, we can finally gather the apron and insert it into a waistband. The waistband is just leftovers from the seafoam green fabric used to make the dress. Now we gather the top of the apron, fold over the waistband, and sew it into place. We're in the home stretch, aren't we? Yay! Yay! Yeah, so the dress is still at the art gallery, which, I'll get it back, I think, on the 30th. So that's 2 days. Until then, I still have, where did I put it? Until then, I still have the apron, and the reason I don't have the apron on the dress while it's on display at the art show is because I thought it would do more about blocking the glow-in-the-dark bits on the dress instead of enhancing it. And the art show is all about glow-in-the-dark and UV reactive, and I have given some thought into painting the apron glow-in-the-dark as well, and I may still do that. But for now, I think that the dress really should speak for itself in terms of glowing in the dark, and the scales on the corset and the little bubbles on the sleeves and the skirt. So the apron was kind of just getting in the way. So we still have it though, which means we can continue our work without the dress, at least for now. And this is the final chapter, which means we finally have to do the bow in the back. I have been struggling with this part of the dress for 6 out of the 14 months that I've been working on this dress. We have tried so many things and so many trials and errors for this bow. We tried a 3D print pattern that we found online. That didn't work out. It was a defective pattern, and our 3D printer is just bunk. I don't know. It's not very user friendly, given what the internet says about that particular 3D printer. That's really more for advanced people, and we are not advanced people, at least not in 3D printing. So we still have the 3D printer. We're just shelving it until we can figure it out. Definitely not the tool for this project. We tried clay. That was our next attempt, and that didn't work out either, because as we were molding the clay, it started to get really heavy. We didn't have styrofoam or anything. It was just clay. Clay is heavy. Yeah, I know that now though. Yeah. Not good for a dress bow either. So while I was at the opening night of the art show, I consulted with other artists there, and the unanimous consensus was something soft, something plushy, and something that wouldn't either fall off the dress because of its weight or dig into my back. So we have here a plushie. Isn't he cute? So the brand here is called Adore. He is an adorable. I guess if you're into big, giant, scary teeth, this is actually quite adorable. He is nice and squishy. So there's that. His name is, according to Amazon in the search engine and all, his name is Alvin the anglerfish. I don't know if this is some reference to a show or story or book or something. I have no idea. Maybe they just slapped a random name onto a plushie. If this is a reference to something, just reference it below. And if you love Alvin the anglerfish, you might not want to stick around for this video. But yeah, I'm just not sure. But this is Alvin. We're going to stick. He's going to keep his name, Alvin the anglerfish, and he's going to help me today. We need an anglerfish head for my bow. All I did was type in anglerfish plushie into the search engine, and this little guy came up. Granted, he's not all white like the bow would, like the original bow would demand. The head, the little tail, which I'll be taking off and putting down here. Everything about that bow, the bow itself, and the head are all pure white. This obviously is not pure white, but I do like it. it still kind of fits the theme. We have the blue and the pink and the burgundy. I mean, it doesn't not work, and at this point, that's good enough for me. We have green in the apron. We have the darker pink. It just, at this point, doesn't not work, so I'm rolling with it. We're going to have a colorful bow. Yeah, this seems to be the best option. I think keeping it all fabric related might be the best option we have. So we're going to take this little guy. We're going to make an incision all the way down. So a nice, clean, straight line. So all you see is the head, and that can be nice and flat as we put it to the back of the apron. So this is going to sit flat against my back. So we want it to be as narrow as possible this wise. The head will still be very prominent, but we're just going to take off as much of the body as possible. And we're going to take this off because this needs to be down here, but all of this extra body can be can help add some length to this, because I don't think it's long enough. It needs to be much longer. It needs to go down, I think, to my ankles. So from the bottom of the head all the way down. Alice has a nice long beautiful tail. We're going to paint this ball so it can glow in the dark as well. I was thinking, just for some extra accents, we can paint his eyes and his teeth, and those can glow, because I'm just making everything glow in the dark for this. So that's what we're going to do. So the hard part is going to be getting a nice clean cut of this guy and getting his head off. Where are my scissors? We have my scissors right here. So why don't we get started on cutting? Upon the removal of the boning, I found that the wiring was folded in half inside of the head antenna, and I could flatten that out and double the length of the tail. But first, I would have to remove the antenna off of the forehead and close the incision. Fortunately, I had silk burgundy thread, which was a near perfect match. The head will certainly need a new backing just to keep all the innards secured inside. And yes, I am using every single scrap of that seafoam green fabric in this dress. So I pin it to the face and use a basic whip stitch to sew it to the burgundy edges. With every stitch, I'm extra careful in catching as close to the edge as possible, with the raw edges folded on the inside, so no raw edges are exposed. At this point, this is just really easy for me, and the whip stitches go all the way around the head until I am complete. Back to the original antenna, it is quite short, so we use some leftover burgundy fabric from the body of the fish to elongate the antenna as long as the bone. It more than doubled the length, it almost tripled the length. Before we continue with the construction of this impossible project, I would like to state the name of the game. Sewing things in place before they're ready. This occurs several times throughout this video, and as much as I would love to point out each time, why don't we play a game? How many inconsistencies can you find throughout the construction phase of this video? And we're back. So, the glow show was a great success.
Yeah, it was.
It ran all month, but we only got to go once. We were planning to go closing night, but for reasons of which we are unaware, that was canceled.
Was it?
The closing day, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was. Sorry.
There was supposed to be an open mic and everything.
There was. I was going to do a thing. I was going to pop in, play, and then that never happened. Yeah, you're right.
Like the mannequin happened. Call it. But she is back in the house after 2-3 weeks on display.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. It was a fun night, though.
That was a great night.
It was an awesome night. A lot of people were just blown away by it.
Yeah.
And
that was 4 weeks ago.
Paint is
it occurs to me.
Holding up.
The paint is holding up remarkably well. Honestly, yeah.
Trouble here with the puff paint because it keeps sticking these creases together. But yeah,
I think that works though.
Yeah.
It definitely worked on my t-shirt. That was cool.
So now that we have the glow in the dark portion completed, we can get back to the final part of the project, and then she will be completely complete. We need the bow. So previously you saw me put this together out of a plushy anglerfish. So
oh yeah.
It's done. Although now I'm thinking I may have to remove the tail and elongate it a bit more because this turned out not to be as long as I wanted it to be. The tail on her is supposed to go pretty much down to the hem of the dress.
Sure. Okay.
And this is not as long as I hoped.
No, I suppose you're right. Yeah, that
I
needs
could get some more
foot.
length on it. So I took another peek at the reference photos, and the tail actually does have some multicolor. There is some pink here at the bottom, so the end of the tail is pink, but there's the top part from the fish head to the pink part is pretty much seafoam green. So this is everything I have left.
Good Lord.
This is all I have left.
I remember how much of that you started with. Yeah. That's crazy.
And there should be enough to elongate the tail to make it as long as the skirt
as it should be. Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to remove the tail, maybe add some more boning, add some more length with this, probably add some boning there, and then put the tail back on the fish head.
Yeah. And we shouldn't need to connect the boning together necessarily.
I was also thinking maybe painting the teeth and the eyes to make them glow. And of course, the end of the tail needs to glow.
Yeah, the puffball needs to glow for sure.
Yeah, so
cool.
That will be that. But what of the bow?
What's indeed of the bow?
So I've been doing a lot of research and a lot of thinking. Like, what if I just craft it out of fabric and just try and take two pieces of white and just trace, and then put bones in that, and it's gonna be a whole thing. But the more I looked at the bow, the more I kind of recognize it. It kind of looks like claws.
It does.
Hands just kind of reaching out. Like there are 6, but we can do 5 fingers. Right?
Yes, we can.
So what I did was research into skeleton hands.
That's pretty close.
That is really darn close. I got these on eBay for super cheap. I don't know why I don't know why so many people need skeleton hand props. It's kind of disconcerting.
No, whatever, man. Creepy people exist. We are them.
These
it is us.
were the thinnest fingers that I could find.
And they are disconcertingly thin and mummificationally mummified. I can speak English.
They're advertised as witch hands, so they're wrinkled and shriveled.
That makes a lot more sense.
And
okay,
then
I get it.
The fingers are super long, so I figured the longer the fingers, the more effective the bow would be. So this is actually exactly what I was hoping for. I'm just going to put these together
somehow.
Like this. It's the bow.
That's pretty close, man. That's it. Yeah.
And then anglerfish will go over it like that.
Yeah, that looks honestly perfect.
Yeah. So
that's so cool. That's so close.
This will be my first time working with plastic.
Yes.
Because the original apron is just layers and layers of cotton I put together for that bow. But this is very different. And I foresaw a lot of complications in trying to recreate a look like this out of fabric.
Yeah. Out of fabric, yes. We tried out of clay. That also was going to be just a nightmare.
Way too heavy, but the thing about these is that they're hollow on the inside, so they're not heavy. They're so light. They barely weigh anything. It's just a really thin layer of plastic.
Yeah.
It actually comes with holes already in the wrist. We may have to drill some holes in. We just need to figure out how this is going to go onto the apron strap.
The attachment points are going to be difficult to figure out.
That's going to be our big challenge for the night is how do we get these onto here, in
a way that'll stay.
How do we get them together? And then how do we get these on here? But we still need to figure out how to get the fish head onto that bow.
Those things are pretty flimsy, the little metal tabs. I feel like those would just bend when you're using that.
We have some logistics to figure out.
We do. It's an engineering problem at this point.
Pieces. We just need to get them all together.
Yeah. This is a physics question now.
Yeah, you did mention earlier hot glue.
Hot glue. But you're right, though. The fact that these are hollow would make hot glue a more difficult solution.
Yes.
Although, if we just did it around the rim, like a strip of hot glue on each of these, that's what's going to touch the fabric, essentially. Maybe. I don't know.
But if I'm wearing it and walking around, that would wear out.
True.
And the pulp bow would fall. As light as these are, they're still plastic.
They're still plastic,
gravity friendly. So I need to find a way to secure this to the dress without it falling off. And I don't trust glue. Snaps would be very difficult because how do I get the snap onto the plastic?
Yeah, that was my initial idea, was putting snaps on it, but there's not really a space to do that because of the way that it's shaped.
The only solution I think I'm really comfortable with at this point is to drill holes into the hands, like maybe just a couple of tiny ones. The more holes I have to work with, the better, the more secure it'll be, and just sew this bitch on.
Yeah.
I'll use my upholstery needle and really thick thread, but that at this point I think is our only solution.
Sure.
Without having...
So essentially drilling a series of parallel holes and then just kind of like ladder stitching or corset stitching it?
It would be no different than me sewing on snaps.
That might just work.
Yeah. And since this is removable via snaps already, all it has to do is attach to the outer this strip here, and then everything would still be...
Because that's already holding, and those snaps are remarkably durable.
Yeah,
I'm gesturing with a witch hand.
Everything. I love these snaps.
Those snaps are great. I'm gesturing with a witch hand.
Yeah, we've had weirder days.
It's a head scratcher.
Okay.
You know what you married.
If you're going to start making terrible dad jokes, you may as well just pull the drill out.
You asking for a lobotomy? That was...
Get out.
You love me. Remember that. Smaller than this hole, I imagine, yes?
Much smaller. I would just need... Hang on, let me go get my upholstery needle. Okay, so I think the curved one would be the best option here.
Aha.
And then I got some options for the upholstery thread. I have gray, 2 shades of gray and white. Something, yeah, the lighter gray matches the best with this hand. So we've pretty much finalized how we're going to get the bow onto the dress. How are we going to get the fish head onto the bow?
That's where I think hot glue might work. Concerned vaguely in how flush that's going to actually be when you're sewing it, given the curvature.
Get it as close to the edge as possible.
Okay.
Let me worry about the sewing.
All right. No, yeah, obviously I'm not going to try to... So just as close to the edge as I can get it?
Mm-hmm.
Like here-ish? Will that work?
If that's as close to the edge as the drill bit can be comfortable, then yes. I don't want it so close that you end up cracking it.
Yeah.
So I'd rather be safe than sorry, but just really close to the edge. Okay, now let me grab the needle. We can do a test run through.
Mm-hmm. We're going to end up vacuuming this room a couple times today.
This would be the 3rd time.
Worth it.
Take the camera. Okay. That works?
I mean, yeah.
Okay, so maybe 3 along each side.
Okay.
And then 2 more at the ends.
I've never had to drill stitching holes before.
Good more.
Pretty flexible plastic, all things considered, really.
Yeah, so maybe 2 more on this side and then even number on that side.
Sorry. Yeah? Mm-hmm. And then you said 2 at the ends?
Well, if they're that close together, maybe go for 3.
Like across here, or how do you mean?
Across, yes.
Okay. I am freehanding this. What did you do today, Randy? Oh, I drilled holes into a witch hand.
It smells like burning plastic in here.
He drilled more holes than I needed, but you know what they say. Better to have them and not need them than to need them and not have them. Before finalizing my decision on how to secure this bow to the dress, I first have to paint the bow and the fish head and let it dry before securing it to the dress. At this point, I think my OCD will not allow me to continue this project unless every inch of it has been painted with glow-in-the-dark fabulosity. Remember in the brainstorming portion how Randy and I mentioned a lot about using a giant snap to secure the bow to the dress. We still used giant snaps because we love giant snaps. Only instead of sewing the snap to the back of the fish head and then to the apron strap, I raised the head just a little bit and secured the snap to the corset modesty panel just to give it a bit of a lift. It turns out that this decision was the best one because the fish head would be more secure on a structurally sound garment than the apron itself. And here we are. I cannot believe it is finally done. Even now, it feels a bit surreal. I've been working on this dress for over a year, bit by bit, and it is finally complete. And I love it. This is my masterpiece. This is the best thing I've ever sewn, and I realize that the bar has been raised and my standard will be very high going forward. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to subscribe because I have a lot of really awesome plans for the future. We have Halloween coming up, and I'd really hate for you to miss what I have in store. Thank you so much for following my journey.